Yeah, hello, we're TAP. I'm Captain Somerset Bray.
I'm Adrian Peckron.
I'm Reggie Mitchell.
And I'm Matthew Young.
And this is our game program.
Okay, so basically, our game is an isometric top-down RTS. We got inspiration from stuff like Halo Wars, Command & Conquer, StarCraft 2 particularly. So we're going to have a bit of an exaggerated visual style. It's low poly because it's going to be an indie game. And to kind of make it still look good, we're going to just have a sort of realistic, but not to the point where it looks. So our target audience will be for people between 15 to 30, no real focus on gender, because we actually just have drone-based characters, which we'll talk about in a bit. It's it's futuristic, all drone combat, and yes, the way you control your units will basically impact the gameplay and how the matches go.
Our unique selling point will be our free-player game mode on our triangular map, which will certainly provide unique experience for RTS players. It will increase the strategy levels, and it will make players think more because they will have not one player they're facing against to worry about, but two. Also, because of our triangular map, the new strategy levels would be like something like sending a scout drone like another side of the map, and if the scout drone, let's say, spots two players fighting, because we're going to have fog of war, by the way. If it spots two players fighting, then the player can make like a quick decision. Creating squads with different classes of drones will be another unique selling point. This will basically let the players, using our controls and hotkeys, control certain drones of different types. So, for example, a player can select 2 defense drones, 3 attack drones, and assign them to a hotkey, which you can use immediately after pressing the hotkey. This will also increase the outcome of fight or defense. Squad surveillance tabs will allow you to keep an eye on whatever's going on the map. This will be shown later on our interface slide. We have also level hazards, which will affect the gameplay. These will be stuff such as electrical storms, earthquakes, tornadoes happening all around the map, apart from the player's base. These will basically affect the player's drones, like damage-wise, or completely destroying them. These are unpredictable. It's just something players will have to keep an open mind for. And also, our elixir is our main resource. This will be used basically to power up the base, create drones, and just upgrade them on the base.
Okay, so the narrative of our story is basically there was this alliance between three species in this galaxy, and they were united under one rule. But recently, the resources in the galaxy have gone to a bit of a low, so there is one last planet left that is rich with resources, but has gone so far untouched purely because it's such a hazardous, uninhabitable planet. So they've gone into a bit of a war over the fact that they have to sustain each of them species respectively. So what they've decided to do is manufacture drones and mechs to fight on this planet to gather resources for themselves. And that's what has come into the gameplay.
Right, so the game world, as mentioned earlier, the map will be triangular, which will contain different terrains, so for example forests, lakes, and There's areas, and each of these would have different effects on the drones. So, for example, if you're fighting in the forest, you may not be able to see the enemy drones as easily as in a meadow or flat plain area. The elixir it's set on a limit, so there's a certain limit within it, and once that has been depleted, if the game is still carrying on, then it becomes a tie or an all-out battle to see who will come out on top. After a set amount of time, for example, new drones will be unlocked. So you have higher tiers that will lock after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and so on. The fog of war, as Adrian mentioned, it'll restrict your view to the areas that you have eyes on or drones in. So that's why scout drones are useful to go out, useful for resources, and watch out for enemies trying to sneak up behind you. So mentioned the elixir is you use it to power your base, so there's elements of micromanagement within our game. And
these are interface examples taken from some similar games. League of Legends, League Commander, StarCraft 2, and this is our interface. It is exclusive because of our full surveillance tab, which I already mentioned. Basically, it's got all the generic features that, such as the hazards. Actually, no, that's a unique feature as well. Because when something will happen and the player won't see it, the hazard box will it will ping red. It will make a sound. I will just be flashing. But yeah, on top of that, I have like the mini-map. And our interface will be hideable. So if in the late game the player will want to focus mainly on the gameplay and he knows all the controls, he can just hide it and he will be able to focus on the gameplay.
Alright, so as I said, there are different races, and obviously that means there's going to be some diversity in how they play. But also, the different types also have just more or less the same functions in the game. But as you progress through a match, you'll be able to upgrade all of your drones in tiers, which will make them more powerful later on in the game. Yeah, and you can choose to use these, or you can completely ignore them if you want to just focus on building your resources instead. Yeah. So, Xenos are this weird insectoid species, and they have a pretty sleek aesthetic going on, but their bases tend to use power much more efficiently, which makes your production speed up, so you can pump out a load of drones at a time compared to the others. However, they do have lower defenses than the others, so they're easier to kill. Raptors, on the other hand, are the strongest of the three races. However, on the other hand, they do have weak weapons, so you might want to change your strategy up when you're using them. Say you were to attack the enemy base, you might want to send them in large swarms rather than one at a time. Humans are like the middle ground. They are slower than the others, and they are less. They're more vulnerable to the hands that go on.
So, enemies and bosses. Well, in our case, it's kind of offline. In most RTS games, such as Game Commander 2, as mentioned earlier, they do have a campaign, sort of, in a campaign mode, where ours doesn't. It just, use offline to practice against bots and work on strategies and sort of different tactics to use against different races. So basically affecting the way you play with certain races. So you'd start off with a tutorial which would put you up against a rookie faction. So you learn the basics of the game and the basic mechanics and what buttons to press when and what bots are better against with their opponents. So, as stated earlier, it is just for practice, where in our game we'll be focused mostly on the 2-player multiplayer, which will be mentioned later. There will be multiple levels of difficulty. So, for example, you can change the level of the bots like you can in CSGO. So, expert, novice.
Our controls, we try to keep them simple. They can be expected by every RTS player, to be honest. They're completely customizable. Also, if you have any additional hotkeys on your keyboard, you'll be able to use that to literally hotkey whatever you want, whether it's like just creating squads, or if you want to customize any of the standard controls. Mouse is our main focus of the game, and yeah, because it will be easier for the players to use, as in the control. Because we have our game is compatible with controllers, but they won't be as effective because there's so many buttons you have to keep track of, and the controller doesn't have as many different buttons. So yeah, we're focusing on the mouse and keyboard.
Right, so bonus material. We do plan on bringing out seasonal skins and stuff, which won't affect the drones in statistics, but only in vertical, like the example there. So we will be using in-game or premium currency, which is premium currency will appear later on down the post-production. So, as seasonal and significant events. So, for example, we have, if it's the year of the Olympics, like it is this year, we will bring out different team colours for the drones. And as well as the drones, we will also bring out a few new map designs, which won't alter the layout of the map, but we will bring out different biomes. So you might have an alien desert, then others. Example.
Oh yeah, so to start market research, we looked at similar games to ours. So you have games such as StarCraft 2, Warhammer 40k Dawn of War, Command and Conquer, and we looked at these games and realised there's been no big new game releases in the past few years. And the thing that's dominated the market has been StarCraft 2 expansions. So you have Legacy of the Void, which released last year, Heart of the Swarm, which released in 2013, both of them selling over 1 million copies, and the original game in 2010 selling 4.5 million. So it shows there's a gap in the market for another RTS, and there's a market in the gap as we see the success of expansions such as these. Yes, so we did some primary research, asking questions about different things, mainly to RTS gamers. First thing we asked was, in a game such as ours, would you want a single player mode? Most people said no, and quite a lot, 27% and 60% said yes and indifferent. So we thought we wouldn't focus on single player mode, but we still wanted it to be in there. The other question we got that was useful was asking about DLC skins. We got 58.3% people saying no, saying yes, sorry. But I mean, there's still a lot of people saying no. But I feel as if maybe if I told them that it was just their aesthetic, they'd be more comfortable with there being DLC like that. We also did some competitor analysis. So with StarCraft 2, we talked about what makes it great, and it's solid gameplay, good design. Of course, we've got the three-player maps and hopefully better graphics because it's a much newer game. We took inspiration from them, like resource management, visual style, and we talked about distributors for this and the next one. But they use Blizzard, Amazon, game retailers like that. Whereas we want to go similar to Spring Command 2, it's on the right here. It's much easier to get your head around. Instead of fighting the mothership, you're fighting Commander, so it's got a similar kind of end game as ours. You have different perks, but they're also similar to us in a way, as you're upgrading different classes, and with us you're upgrading the whole, different types of drones at a time. And they use Game and Steam, and we want to be using Steam because we feel it'll get us to a wider audience. Yeah, that's the best way to go, and it's cheaper. Any questions?